hold on a second.
You're welcome. We'll do it again. We're here with you.
Okay. So thank you all for coming here today. It's great to see how much support we're getting, and it's great to see people who came to the last ones and are coming again, and the new faces as well. We just wanted to start off by saying what we'd like to achieve by these marches. So we'd like Bermuda to declare a climate state of emergency, which would entail banning all single-use plastics and styrofoam by latest 2021, because currently they have a target of 2022, and that's too late. By then it won't do anything to stop climate change from becoming irreversible, because we have 12 years and now's the time to act. So yeah, and then we also would like to have a renewable energy target in Bermuda, because right now we have a petition out to have Bermuda have a 70% renewable energy in Bermuda by 2050. Mm-hmm. And so yeah, if you sign the 2040, okay, 2040, and yeah.
To find out more about this and sign the petition, you need to go to betterenergyplan.bm and sign the petition.
Yeah, and then for more information on our next march, you should follow Fridays for Future BDA19 on Instagram, or you can email us at f4fbermuda@gmail.com. And so we're here today because climate change isn't going away, and neither will we. So until the Bermuda government does something to make us more eco-friendly and at a much faster rate, we're going to continue coming here. So our next march is going to be on August 23rd, and we hope to see you all here again. Yeah. What? Do you want to say something? Okay, so now we're just going to go in front of the monument and stand there showing our signs to the people who pass. Yes. Okay.
So we're really proud of these young people. As a result, especially of the two who were just talking, Katarina and Celea, we've been able to form a youth council at Green Rock. So far we have 8 members, and actively growing the numbers by getting representatives from different schools. For us, it's very important for young people's voices to be heard. And also, they need to have a seat at the table to be able to be involved with providing solutions for present-day challenges. Because the reality is that it's their future that is at risk. So it's very important for us to ensure that their inspiration and that their passion and their drive is encouraged. Because otherwise, we get the opposite effect. Where they become discouraged and deflated, and everybody's talking about young people and why aren't they doing anything, and they're irresponsible and disrespectful. But here we say a totally different thing, where they're actually taking responsibility, stepping up, showing a willingness to help. We just had a word with the minister and made it clear the last time we were here, a meeting was promised. That meeting hasn't happened yet. So that's what we're looking for now, because again, these young people need to have a seat at the table and be involved. They have recognized that if they continue to sit on the side, time is just going to continue to elapse and continue to elapse. We're looking at climate change as something that we can address when we feel we have the time to address it. The reality is that we need to address climate change like a house on fire. It's urgent. And that's why they were talking about a climate state of emergency. We need people in Bermuda to understand that this is not something that we can just get to when it's convenient. It's actually something that we're going to have to overcome conveniences, to work on. the action that's required is going to take sacrifice. You know, it's been a lot of convenience that's got us in this situation. So a sacrifice that's going to make it reverse. The only way that we're going to be able to address that is having a mindset that says we're being responsible and accountable. Otherwise, it seems like we're a problem. When in reality, like, we're trying to shift public opinion in a way that we can actually start bring solutions. Because everybody's affected. Regardless of whether you help or you don't help, you agree or you disagree, everybody's supported by this. And not just in Bermuda, but all over the world, you know. And we can make changes. We can set an example. There's all sorts of things that we can do. But it's important that everybody acts. So we're in no position to point a finger at anybody else, anywhere else in the world, unless we're doing things ourselves. And that's what the important thing is here. The children have made a statement. They're willing to take the lead. We as adults need to humble ourselves and follow and be supportive.
Green Rock has a mandate that you're working on as the education of people and whatever.
And awareness, yeah. Our ultimate mandate is to change mindsets.
How does this action by the youth group and the mandate of Green Rock gel together?
Well, yeah, it's really perfect because, their ultimate goal is to raise awareness. They want to see changes take place in Bermuda that's going to benefit everyone, and those changes require changes in our personal or individual behaviors. So it's all educational, Now, our presence in front of the government is because the reality is we're creatures of habit. And when things are available, then we're going to take advantage of the things that are available. So these things, like single-use plastics, that have become an impediment to the world, are available. We're going to use them, so we need to ban them. It's just like when cigarette smoking inside buildings and things was banned. A lot of people didn't necessarily agree with it. But if you ask people now, even if you talk to smokers, they understand the situation. It's a similar thing. It's going to cause some discomfort, It's going to cause some challenges, but ultimately it's for the greater good. And as leaders, we have to make those adjustments for the benefit of people. That's why we're constantly having a presence with the government, because the government has an integral role to play in order to shift this. Otherwise, we're just leaving it up to individuals. And that's really a big ask. The reality is that people have all sorts of things on their minds, all sorts of different pressures, challenges, and things and I'm not making excuses for people, but that's a reality. You know what I mean? So as long as I can walk down this road, I'm going to walk down this road until somebody says, you know what, that road's blocked off. And that's the type of changes that we need to make. We need to electrify our fleets, our cars. A lot of our carbon emissions comes from vehicles. The government can set an example with the fleet. We understand that there's projects in place for the buses. That's great. We all know how much smoke the buses are pushing out. You know what I mean? But when that starts to happen and we further incentivize things, we make it easy for the car dealerships to get electric vehicles on the island at good prices, then we can start to see the shift. But it requires attention. It requires energy. You know what I mean? Things have happened in the past where governments have made shifts in order to prioritize things. That's what needs to happen with this. It's not just something that we can get to when we have time. We'll never find the time. We need to make it a priority.
What needs to happen to get people more interested in coming out to support a cause like this?
Well, it is a lot of education that's required because most people are not recognizing that as a challenge. It's like most things in life. Until it's right in front of our face and it's actually happening, it's not happening. So sometimes it's hard to conceptualize. That's where, again, it's the leadership. Because as leaders, it's our responsibility to understand things that most people maybe don't understand or don't recognize as important. And then the purpose of legislation and policies and things of that nature is to serve the best interests of our people. And that's why, again, government is so critical in this process. When government starts to take this as a priority, people will start to pay more attention to it. We can continue to do what we're doing, and we will. But really, it's going to take legislation or policies that affect the entire country in order to make people say, hey, hold on. Okay, Now I see what's going on. Now I hear what people are saying. This is actually important. I didn't really understand that before. But now that the government is saying this and the whole country is moving in this direction, I understand it better. You know what I mean? So that's really like the missing link. You know, we're constantly working on advocating, and more people are shifting and shifting. It's been a movement all around the world. But in order to have major change, then countries around the world have shown that legislation is required. And then it happens like that, immediate.
What do you say to the naysayers that say that they have scientists that say the exact opposite of what some scientists say when it comes to climate change and that there is no climate change? Especially when you look at somebody like the U.S. president.
Yeah, for example, and you know, I'll be honest with you, you know, my personal take, I try to stay away from all the politics around the science, and I just say to people like, you know, what makes sense? You know, does it make sense, or is it beneficial for us to be pumping pollution into the environment? Is it beneficial for us to have the water, you know, being totally invaded by single-use plastics? Is who benefits from that? And if we can look at that and say, okay, that's not really a good thing, and we have alternatives that are in our best interest, then let's take the alternatives. For me, it's not about being right or wrong. It's about being wise. And what is the wise thing to do? If we generate energy using fuel oil and coal, and then new technology comes around that we can generate energy using wind and sunlight and tidal waves and things of that nature, then those things obviously make more sense if they're not polluting in the way that the things that we're using now. So I just stay on the common sense side. Let people argue about the science and what they think is this. The reality is that people see the hurricanes, people see the ice melting. That's a reality. That's actually happening. So regardless of what people think about science, the realities are right in front of our faces, you know. And all we can do is what within our means to have an impact, because that's what's caused it in the first place. We've made decisions, or people have, I'll put it this way, people have made decisions that have had consequences that either weren't considered or people didn't really care about at the time, because maybe they were thinking about money when they said, you don't have to wash dishes every night now. You can live this disposable life. Get plastic and styrofoam plates, and after your party, you just throw everything in the trash. So let me ask another common sense question. Where does the trash go? Because it doesn't disappear, even when we burn it in the incinerator. It's pollution. All the toxins turn into super toxins. Is that good for us? Do people like what's coming out of Belco's cigarettes? You know? No, we know that's not good. Ask the people who live around Belco, what's the impact of that? You know, so again, let's focus on the common sense side and the realities rather than getting caught up in the politics of the science. And if young people are saying things to us that make sense, then we need to listen. Don't worry about the ages. Is it wise or is it foolish?